Father Thomas had seen a lot in his 28 years behind the pulpit of St. Mary's Church, a small, weather-worn chapel tucked into the sleepy hills of Yorkshire. But nothing quite prepared him for the scruffy golden retriever who showed up one gray October morning and refused to leave. It started quietly. The dog appeared just after sunrise, sitting patiently by the heavy oak doors as parishioners entered for morning mass. At first, people assumed it was a local's pet, maybe waiting for its owner. But the hours passed, and no one came to claim him. The next day, he was there again. By the end of the week, he was sleeping curled up on the cold stone steps at night, rain or shine. The villagers began leaving scraps for him, bits of sausage roll, a warm blanket. Children gave him a name, Gabriel. Father Thomas tried everything. He checked for a collar, posted on Facebook and called the shelters. Even gently coaxed Gabriel with treats, guiding him toward the churchyard gate, but the dog would only return to his post, staring at the front doors as if waiting for something, or someone. It was the third week when things took a turn. On a Wednesday evening, as rain lashed the stained glass windows and the church stood empty, Father Thomas finally gave into curiosity. He turned to the old security camera feed stored on the church office computer, something he rarely bothered with. He rewound to the night Gabriel first arrived. What he saw sent chills up his spine. The footage showed the dog wandering in from the road, alone, soaked to the bone. But then, he stopped at the church steps and looked up. For nearly 3 minutes, Gabriel stared directly at the carved stone crucifix above the door, unmoving. Then he lay down and waited. But that wasn't the strange part. What came next made Father Thomas gasp aloud. At precisely 3:17 a.m., a soft glow shimmered faintly on the footage, barely perceptible, but there. Right above the dog. The glow seemed to pulse, and then, from the shadows near the bell tower, a figure emerged. Not walking, not gliding, just there. A tall, hooded silhouette. The dog lifted its head as if in recognition. And then, just as suddenly, the figure vanished. Father Thomas blinked, replayed it. Again and again. The timestamp remained unchanged. The figure didn't appear on any other part of the footage. He sat back in his chair, stunned. The next morning, he knelt by Gabriel, brushing the dog's fur with shaking hands. "Who are you waiting for, boy?" Gabriel leaned into his touch, his eyes deep with something more than animal intelligence. That Sunday, the pews were fuller than usual. Word had spread of the church dog and the ghostly figure on the feed. Some came out of curiosity, others in quiet hope. Gabriel sat in the center aisle, calm, watching. Then came a twist no one expected. A woman named Elise walked into St. Mary's near the end of Mass. She wore grief like a second skin, pale, hollow-eyed, and clutching a small framed photograph. She had just moved to the village, trying to start over after losing her fiancé, Aaron, in a hit-and-run nearly 4 months earlier. Her tears fell freely as she approached the altar after the service. "I don't know why I came here," she whispered. "I just felt drawn." Gabriel stood and walked straight to her. He sat at her feet and whined softly. Elise knelt, and as their eyes met, something cracked wide open inside her. She dropped the photo, and Father Thomas saw it fall face up. Aaron, smiling, his arm around Gabriel. The priest's voice trembled. This is your dog." She nodded. "He disappeared the night Aaron died. I thought he ran off in grief. I searched for weeks, gave up. But now, no one spoke. No one needed to." Gabriel had been waiting, not for a ghost, not for a miracle. For her. That moment changed the town. Father Thomas started speaking more often about connection, about the unseen bonds between souls, and how sometimes grace shows up not in thunderclaps or visions, but in muddy pause and patient waiting. Elise stayed, found work at the local library. Gabriel, ever loyal, now lay at her feet during every service, tail thumping quietly during hymns. And every now and then, late at night, the priest would peek at the security footage. The figure never came back. But the glow, that soft shimmer, it lingered, and that was enough. Because in a world often noisy with loss and loneliness, one act of faith, a dog's refusal to leave a church, became a sermon louder than any words could offer. And love, in all its mysterious, faithful forms, found its way home.